Well, what is going on, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer and Kyle Kelly live on the Blue and Gold YouTube channel, talking some Notre Dame football recruiting. Kyle, I feel like it's been ages since I have been on this particular show. Thank you and Tyler for doing a great job for filling in. I definitely was out last week. Maybe I did the week before, but then the week before that I was out. So, but again, glad to be back with you, Kyle. Everything well on your end, my friend?
I think so, man. Yeah, it's been feels like a long time since you've been on the show, so I'm excited to catch up with you a little bit. I
Yeah.
feel like we haven't talked as much as we usually do. So, as much as this will be an update for the Notre Dame recruiting fans, it's going to be an update for myself as well. So, looking forward to
Yeah,
the show.
no, and for me, because yeah, Kyle's been doing a great job as I've been in and out of Notre Dame coverage. I'm kind of back in like a hybrid role, as many of you know. My daughter was born last Thursday afternoon, so I took like a good week off, and then I'm kind of in a just kind of doing YouTube stuff and making some phone calls here for the next week. So, but very happy to be back with you guys and talk some Notre Dame football recruiting show with Tim. Tuesday night was terrific. So yeah, it's good. It's good to be with you all, folks. Please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content. If you're listening via podcast, appreciate you as well. Please leave us a 5-star review if you like our show, and let us know why. Fill out that reason for leaving a 5-star review. Very much appreciated, especially on Apple Podcasts. Um, Yeah, let's dive into wide receiver recruiting, Kyle. I know that's something you got to talk with Darren Pritchett about on Tuesday in a video that you guys did. But wanted to just have a discussion with me and you about it as well. As you said, something that we haven't really got to catch up on too much, but this is our so today's show is kind of like a blue and gold staff, a recruiting staff meeting between Kyle and I. And you guys get to watch it. So this one, Jaylen Cooper from Steele High School in the San Antonio area. Kyle really thought he was trending to Notre Dame. I mean, I was told that people close to him wanted Notre Dame. Um, I mean, I was told he was trending towards the Irish like a few days, maybe 5, 6 days before he decided to stick with his SMU commitment. And but that's what he did. That's what he did. So Notre Dame thought he was trending that way. People close to him thought he was trending that way. After talking to Cooper after his Notre Dame official visit, I thought he was trending that way. But just a couple of quick thoughts on this, Kyle. I don't want to spend too much time on a player not coming to Notre Dame for sure now. Well, I guess never say never, but pretty likely at this point. Two things. I mean, SMU is not really the local school here. It's a local school, but this is a San Antonio kid. SMU is in the Dallas Fort Worth area. So, Notre Dame had an uphill battle, but it wasn't one that was like, oh, like he's picking the school in his backyard as Notre Dame often has to do, like directly in the backyard kind of thing. So that's one reason I thought Notre Dame could have pulled this one off. That it's not like this is a Dallas kid. That was one thing. I was optimistic. Here's the other thing that I want to touch on with Jaylen Cooper. Again, this prospect officially visited Notre Dame for the Stanford game. Um, it's although it sucks that he didn't come to Notre Dame, it is a little refreshing, Kyle, to see a prospect stick with the commitment, right? In this Notre Dame community, we're very used to a player being committed to the Irish, and then as soon as he takes in a visit elsewhere, you can pretty much write it off. Folks, please let me know in the comments when the last time a player who was committed to Notre Dame and started taking other visits stuck with the Irish. There were some situations in the 2021 recruiting class where you had guys decommit and then recommit. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying committed to the Irish, take other visits while committed to the Irish, and then stuck with Notre Dame. I mean, you got Jaden Lamar, Peyton Bowen, Dylan Edwards, Keon Keeley, obviously Deuce Knight. I mean, we could go on for a while. These guys that this has happened, we haven't had a Jaylen Cooper situation in quite a long time. So for folks in the comments, let me know. Are we talking over under a decade? It's been a hot minute. Jerry Tillery. That is the one that I have seen when discussing this. And Jerry Tillery back in the 2015 recruiting class. Kyle, thoughts?
Well, I think the one reason why we haven't seen a lot of it, at least lately, was because when Freeman and Chad Bowden took over that tandem,
Kyle,
I've
you
talked
sound like
about
crap. Are you sick?
no, sorry, just not speaking up loud enough.
Oh, okay.
So this is something I've started to do, like kind of articulate my stories. Like in the NFL, when we talk about regimes, we're always talking about general manager and coach regimes. And I think it's important to do that in college football now. As much as this is the Freeman era, this is the Freeman and Bowden era. As much as Marcus Freeman has a hand in developing and coaching this roster, Chad Bowden has a hand in constructing it and building it behind the scenes. So anyway, at the beginning of the Freeman and Bowden era, they had a policy that your commits, they're not allowed to officially visit. So if they officially visited a school, it resulted in an automatic decommitment. And usually at that point of the process, they would allow recruits to unofficially visit schools. So they would like the Keon Keeleys and the Jalen Lamars and Peyton Bones, like they made a bunch of official visits. I actually don't think Peyton Bowen made an official visit. I just think he went on a bunch of unofficials down to Norman, Oklahoma. So I think that's part of the reason, at least with recently. Now it seems like they have altered that policy as of late, because the other part of that policy was that, hey, we're not going to let our commits officially visit schools, and we're not going to let other commits come officially visit our school. But now, as more things have developed in the recruiting eras and this recruiting era, and kind of as like coaches have had to adapt to new schemes and new tempos and certain things on the field, Notre Dame has adapted off the field. Now they're allowing their commits to officially visit elsewhere. Obviously, they don't prefer that. I'm sure they try behind the scenes to persuade those guys not to do that, but ultimately it's come down to we're going to allow our commits to officially visit other places, because in return we're going to try to bring in these guys committed elsewhere on official visits. So that's what Notre Dame has done this season with a guy like Jaylen Cooper, for example. So although it is a deflating loss in the short term, and there's no clear picture on what Notre Dame's going to do at wide receiver to fill that fourth spot, at least to us, Notre Dame prefers to keep that under wraps. And I know this is something you posted on the Loose Emoji message board last night, was that Notre Dame, some of the sources that we've talked to, their explanation to that was basically, we don't want it out there that we're going after a committed player, because the sooner it gets back to the school, the less of a chance it benefits Notre Dame for them potentially flipping into the
Yeah.
class.
Let me let me add to that. There's been Notre Dame commits who other schools have been trying to hit up, and then it gets back to Notre Dame pretty soon, and they're able to squash it. It's like so many things in life. The quicker you're able to diagnose something, the easier it is to fix it. It's the same thing with recruiting. So yeah, Notre Dame, it doesn't benefit them. Like when Notre Dame publicly offered Jaylen Cooper and Antavius Richardson. So people talking about closing on a receiver. Antavius Richardson, I mean, there was a 4-star guy who Notre Dame did close on at the receiver position. Elijah Burris has looked tremendous as a senior, and then J.K. St. Bettis is a safety. As far as I'm concerned, he is still a wide receiver, so he is a part of that class. But yeah, like I was talking about, like it just doesn't benefit Notre Dame. So as much as it sucks for media and fans, we'll find out at the end of the day. The Blake Hebert thing, whether we had known about it 2 weeks before he flipped to Notre Dame or not, Blake Hebert still flipped to Notre Dame, and it's fine. The whole thing about the unofficial or the whole policy, you are correct in everything you said. I just don't know what it matters to this discussion because Notre Dame's lost guys with either thing. So
Right.
it's kind of a non-discussion. And then one more thing before I throw it quickly back to you, Kyle, and then we're going to hear from Prize Picks. The Tuitt and Tillery, I had I pulled these up. So Stephon Tuitt committed to Notre Dame. This is I was still in high school for Stephon Tuitt's recruitment. I believe he's a year older. I'm a year older than him. No, Stephon Tuitt, what class was he in? 2011?
Sounds about right.
Yeah, whatever. I was in the 2012 class. So he commits to Notre Dame, officially visits Auburn and Georgia Tech, decommits from the Irish, commits to Georgia Tech, just to commit to Notre Dame again. And then Jerry Tillery did commit to Notre Dame. When was that commitment? Yeah, commit to Notre Dame pretty early, and then it took a ton of visits and did stick with the Irish. It's just funny seeing January official visits. You don't get those really anymore. And anything quick, Kyle, before we move on here?
Yeah, just two more quick thoughts. Going back to the official visit, unofficial visit conversation that resulting in automatic decommitment. I think part of the reason, like a lot of those guys recently, like the way I was trying to present my point was basically that, when those guys, looking back in the 23 class, the Keon Keeleys and Dylan Edwards and Jalen Lamars and like those guys, like by the time they already officially visited, those schools, like their Notre Dame recruitment was over. Like it was, or like by the time they had set the official visit, like, it was already trending in another direction. And
Yeah.
then the official visit just kind of came to a head and that's where things ended. But
Yeah.
basically, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it's this whole policy thing is the most over discussed thing, and I'm like no disrespect in Kyle, but it is the most
Yes.
over talked about thing.
No, I
Because
agree.
the problem with it is people don't understand that it was a one cycle thing. They didn't need it for the 24 class because Notre Dame didn't bring in any of kids committed elsewhere for OVs, and no Notre Dame commits took OVs. It just worked out. So they didn't really have anything for the 24 class, but yeah, this was for the 23 class and the 23 class only. It was very much and it applied to one guy, Justin Rhett, took a Georgia official visit. Notre Dame cut him loose. So it's a fun thing to look back on and see how Notre Dame's changed their approach, but it's definitely a case by case thing that they operate.
Yes. No, I also think it's kind of a moot point as well. I
Yeah.
just wanted to offer some thoughts of, kind of recently why they're, the Notre Dame quote unquote commits that have officially visited haven't stuck. But just wrapping up my thoughts in terms of what Notre Dame
30
might
seconds, Kyle.
have to do at the 25 wide receiver position moving forward, even though it seems from the outside looking in that they're in a tough spot. I think they're going to be able to fill that fourth position no problem. And part of the reason why is every single time I log into X, formerly known as Twitter, I'm seeing a new decommitment or a flip or something. Something is happening in 2025 recruiting with these prospects. I mean, there are so many guys open for business. So I'm not surprised that Notre Dame is potentially going to be able to fill this void, no problems, because it seems like even though most of the prospects are committed elsewhere, there are a lot of guys still listening to other schools.
Our friends at Prize Picks are sponsoring this week's Notre Dame recruiting update and testing my skills on Prize Picks during football, basketball, baseball, soccer, fill in the blank. It is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy, college football included. You got quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are just a few of the things that make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 to 1,000 with just a few taps. You just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. They also have all sorts of weekly promotions, Flex Friday, which gives you a call it like a protected play where if it doesn't hit, you're going to get your money back. And Taco Tuesday, where Prize Picks discounts selected player projections up to 25% to provide even more value. And you can vote on them. Kyle called it X, formerly known as Twitter. I refuse. It's just Twitter. It's just Twitter. It'll always be Twitter to me.
I agree.
But yeah, you could vote. They'll be like, they'll give you 4 different options, and the community gets to vote on it. So I always love that. And I did actually just log one this morning. Here are my 2 active plays at Prize Picks. One of my buddies sent me this play, Luka Doncic. I really don't love NBA plays, but we're kind of at that point of the year where it's like, if I want to do a play every day, you got to mix in some NBA. So I got Luka Doncic. It's today Thursday, Kyle? It is. More than 24.5 points, rebounds, and assists combined, and that's in the first half tonight. And then Aaron Jones, Minnesota's running back, to go more than 59.5 yards. And then I got Kyron Williams, basically on an anytime TD kind of deal tonight. And then Justin Jefferson. Did Justin Jefferson not play? Did he not play? Wait, this is Tuesday. I think that's incorrect. When is the Vikings?
They play tonight.
Oh, that's tonight. Okay, so that's just an error on Prize Picks. So I got Justin Jefferson. So this was a taco. So I think his normal projection was like 80 something. I don't know if you can even see it there. It's got like this little X logo. That means the community voted on it. I would like to see the bird logo there, but more than 59.5 yards. So $25 to pay out 62, or for both of those, 62 and a couple quarters. So those are my current plays. Tell me if you want on Prize Picks, but you got to make sure you use the. Oh man, I don't have my what is our? Wait, what is our use the code BGI to receive a guaranteed $50 once you play $5 a lineup. So download the Prize Picks app or head to prizepicks.com. Hold on. There it is. Receive a guaranteed $50 once you play $5 a lineup. So what's up, Kyle?
Yeah, no, I was going to say, as you were trying to find the promo code, that I love the Kyron Williams play for more than a half a touchdown. This guy's been a scoring machine. If you don't believe me, just check out Tyler Horker or Jack Sobel's Twitter, because they tweet, not post on X, his touchdown highlights every Sunday.
So. Every Sunday. I'm like, Kyron Williams, they it's some kind of stipend or something, because so much of their Twitter engagement is just a blessing from Kyron Williams and them reposting the Kyron Williams touchdowns. To wrap up receiver recruiting discussion, the Irish still working on Derrick Meadows, and Kyle, I know you wrote about this at Lucky Charms the other night. The Irish still working on the LSU wide receiver commit from Las Vegas, Bishop Gorman, top 100 overall player per the On3 industry ranking, 6'6", 205 pounds. I know he's not too productive at the high school level, but I mean, it does, it's obviously you'd rather be more productive at the high school level than not, but it's not the be all end all. There are guys who have much better stats in college than they did in high school, or even college to the pros. Or you have guys who light it up at one level and stink at the next level. It's more about your traits. You can dominate in Nevada, but that doesn't really mean you're going to dominate in college. At the end of the day, can you play or not? A lot of schools think Derrick Meadows can play. Notre Dame still badly wants to flip him. So we'll see where that goes. Notre Dame's going to try to get him on campus in November for one of their remaining home games, keeping an eye on the FSU date. We'll see what happens there. And then I do suspect that, as Kyle mentioned, they are working on guys behind the scenes. So we'll see where that goes. Moving to the headline, Kyle, of this show, we have Notre Dame. This is an interesting one. Andrew Olas from Central Valley, PA, Southern Lehigh, 6'5", 215 pounds, a top 100 recruit according to the On3 industry ranking, the number 3 tight end in the country. He's been committed to Michigan since July, but Kyle, his recruitment remains very much open. He's officially visiting, as we both were told. Olesh told me, and a source close to him told you. Notre Dame sources have confirmed this as well. Olesh is going to officially visit for the FSU game. I had a source, Kyle, tell me the FSU Irish recruiting weekend is going to be, quote, a movie, which is kind of an overused phrase, but you get the picture. It's going to be a huge recruiting event for Notre Dame. Strap in, strap on, Kyle.
Wait a sec. Let me check my heart rate here, and like I don't have an Aura ring, but I need something to monitor my stress because it sounds like I'm going to be really running around all over South Bend on that Saturday. I mean, I know they got a boatload of 26 guys coming in, but if this 25 haul lives up to the hype of the guys they're going to have in.
Yeah. The good thing, like in years past when Notre Dame had the 2:30 kickoff, it was like when the game kicks off at 2:30, you have enough time in the day to hit them up Saturday night. But I feel like when it's a 7:30, you're not doing any no one's doing any interviews really. I mean, I actually maybe a website or two are, but I am not hitting up a recruit at midnight for an interview. I just will not do it. Plus, I'm on the show with Tim anyways. So it's at least you get, there's no pressure to get the recruits on the phone on Saturday. So you just hit them up Sunday and yeah. But then we'll have it locked. I'll be back full by then, obviously. And
God, I hope.
I will be. I'll be your home base. I got you, bro. I wish I could be at the game. But it's probably even better that I'm not, so I could just kind of be be the the superhero's best friend, hacking into the computer mainframe or whatever. That'll be me for you, Kyle. I got you, bro. Okay. Andrew Olesh, can you tell me, Jay Carr, I see your question. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Can you walk me through his other official visits real quick? Do you know those off the top of your head? Because he's taken a few.
Tough to do it off the top of my head. I know he's been to Alabama. I know he's going to go to Oregon.
Actually, I can probably just pull this up on his On3 page, right?
Yeah, Penn State's still involved. But, Notre Dame in the mix now. So he is, as I kind of phrased it, for a lot of these recruits in the 25 cycle, it seems like open for business. It's open season in his recruitment. He's letting a lot of schools get involved, and Notre Dame's not going to turn that down, especially with him expressing some mutual interests in the Irish. So,
okay, so here's his officials. So you can only take an official visit once. Like someone on the message board was like, Mike, I'm really excited to see you report Derrick Meadows taking an official to Notre Dame. Like you can only take one official. You can take 30 of them, but you can only visit a single school once for an official visit, right? Where the school has to pay for it. And so that 48-hour all expenses paid thing. So he's already been to Penn State, Michigan, Bama, Florida for official visits. Now this season, he's visited Penn State's going to host him for the Ohio State game. Is that this week? No, they play Wisconsin this weekend. That's soon. I'm sure that'll be the whiteout game. And then Alabama hosted him for the Georgia game. So I'm guessing there's another school or two involved.
Oregon. He's going to be.
Oh, yeah, that's what you had mentioned. Okay. So it is clearly open. Now, in terms of like how much Notre Dame has a shot to flip Andrew Olesh, I think it's a little. We'll pop on his junior tape just because it's on his On3 profile. I think it's a little too early. Like, let's get him on campus, see where it goes from there. I wouldn't be like, oh, like this is going into, at least as of right now, and I've been wrong before. As of right now, it feels like it is one of those situations where the two parties are getting to know each other, get him on campus. It'll be his first time at Notre Dame, and then we will see where it goes from. Oh, clicked the wrong button. We'll see where it goes from there. But otherwise, I don't really have too much on Andrew Olas. He's someone who's been mentioning Notre Dame a lot in recent weeks, but it just in talking to different sources, it didn't seem like anything like, whoa, like flip watch, this one's coming. I feel like it's warm between the two parties, and then it could heat up quick if all goes well during his Notre Dame official visit. Do you have the same read, Kyle?
Yeah, that's what it kind of feels like. And I think part of the reason why is because Notre Dame doesn't exactly know what they want to do in the 2025 class. And I don't say recruiting class because I think they're still trying to decide whether they want to add a second tight end, whether that be in the recruiting ranks or the transfer portal. Could it be both? I wouldn't rule it out, but I think they're still trying to figure out what they exactly want to do. I still personally, this is just me as an observer, not gathering intel. I think they're going to add a second tight end in this class, just because when you look at the numbers on the roster, um, under each year in the Freeman and Bowden era, I think they had 7 tight ends in 2022, and they've had 6 the last 2 years. So sorry, I'm just doing that right off the top of my head. So if those numbers are incorrect, please feel free to correct me in the comments. But either whatever that number is, they need a second tight end in the 25 class in order to get to that number. That's with Mitchell Evans and Davis Sherwood moving on, and plus there's Kevin Bauman, who has the option to return, but he's been at Notre Dame for a while, so I expect him back. We'll see what happens there. But this kind of reminds me of what Notre Dame did in the 2023 recruiting cycle, and I don't know if you'll remember this, Mike, where they had Cooper Flanagan committed, who was one of the top tight end recruits in the entire 23 cycle. But they were kind of looking for another 23 tight end. They were just casually kind of going with it, and they hosted Lawson Lucky,
Well,
four-star tight
how
end
about
from
Kyle?
Georgia.
24 class, they did the same thing, right? They did the Nebraska kid too.
Yes, Carter Nelson, good
Yeah,
point. I didn't even think of that. So, yeah, this isn't a really big surprise, like especially because earlier this season, they scouted Tiandre Waverly out in Seattle area and um, brought him on campus for an official visit. He's not formally offered, but I mean, as someone told me earlier this week, earlier this season, like basically all these recruits have offers. Like offers are contingent on how you play, and
sure.
they're contingent on a lot of different things. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Notre Dame looking at a second tight end, and I love what they're doing here by going at least exploring going after Olish. Uh, because if Notre Dame were just now we're looking really far ahead. If they were to flip him, that would give Notre Dame 2 tight ends who are ranked within the top 7 at their position. So be the best recruiting haul in the 25 cycle at tight end. Now that's barring Olish and Flanagan, James Flanagan, Notre Dame's other tight end commit, maintain their rankings in the On3 industry ranking. But this would also give them a top haul at that position for the first time going back to 2017 when they signed Cole Kmet and Brock Wright, the number 2 and 3 tight ends in the 2017 class. So, pretty big haul it would be for Notre Dame. And I know, I was thinking about this, like if I'm looking at this from Olesh's perspective, like why would I want to go to Notre Dame and be this, quote unquote second tight end when I could go somewhere else and be the guy, the only guy? Well, look back to 2017 when there was Cole Kmet and Brock Wright. Both those guys had success at Notre Dame. I know Brock Wright maybe a little bit less success compared to Cole Kmet, but the more important part or piece to this puzzle is both those guys went on to go play in the NFL, and both those guys are having great NFL careers. So
Yeah.
Notre Dame's shown it's possible to bring in 2 highly touted guys at that position and have both of them succeed at Notre Dame and beyond.
Yeah, and I don't know if Olesh is going to be looking up 2017 recruiting class or Notre Dame's going to be pitching on it. But to your point, Flanagan and Olas are clearly two different players. Like Flanagan is your kind of your all around. He's gonna knock the hell out of you, to use a Tim Hyde phrase. Olas is more of a receiving threat. Olas looks outstanding. I mean, this is my first time watching his junior tape. His route running ability there, like he is smooth, catches the ball very cleanly. I am a big fan of watching. I mean, just in and out of those breaks on the little comeback route there. He's clean. So, and just real quick before we move on, Kyle, from what you understand about James Flanagan, this is not something that would really disturb him. Like he would be fine. We're not worried about James Flanagan, Notre Dame legacy, decommitting over something like
No,
this.
no. I mean, I asked James about Notre Dame bringing in Tiandre Waverly back when that happened, and the explanation Notre Dame gave him was it was a numbers thing, and I still believe that sort of is the case. And just getting to know James, he's one of the most easygoing guys out there. Like he's not a guy that's going to get intimidated or
Love it.
upset about Notre Dame potentially scouting another guy. Like I think I didn't articulate this in my story, but I think it's noteworthy to mention that Notre Dame at least had some level of interest. I personally think it was high interest in starting this cycle out with two tight ends when they accepted a verbal commitment from Nate Roberts.
Mm-hmm.
They still were going after James Flanagan, and the reporting at that time was we're looking at James Flanagan as an edge rusher now. This is going back 2 summers ago, back in the summer of 23, when Roberts initially committed. But they stayed hot in hot pursuit after Flanagan. And for what it's worth, Flanagan could play edge at the next level. I think Notre Dame loves him at tight end. But yeah, they were initially considering bringing Roberts and Flanagan on board. And Roberts, I think that was maybe a part of his decommitment, his short-lived Notre Dame commitment. Roberts still are now verbally committed to play at Ohio State, where they ironically have two tight ends. They accepted a commitment from a guy in the Cleveland area. So yeah, I like what Notre Dame's doing here, getting a highly touted prospect on campus. Because one more thought, Mike. I know I'm kind of rambling, but when you were
You're
putting
good.
out, you had his film there. One thing I really liked about this guy, Olish, he split out wide a lot. They used him in the slot, exactly how Mike Denbrock uses his tight ends. So I think he's a really good potential
Yeah.
fit in the future of the Notre Dame offense.
I might, Kyle. I might want to write an article today. I might. Do you have something planned for Lucky Charms today?
Yeah, I already started writing in.
Is it time sensitive?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. TBD. I might want to write an article just as we're talking about some of this 2025 class stuff. Like I want to go even. I'm getting the writing itch. I want to write like a thoughts, comma intel piece where it's like here's some intel, but I want to express some thoughts as well. So I might steal Lucky Charms from you today. So
Go
keep
for it.
writing it, but if it's not time sensitive, you can hold it for tomorrow. That might work because I'm kind of getting the writing itch. Although I got a video with Jack today, and then I got my video with Tim tonight to record. Those will be the most work I've done in a week, but he's out of baby mode, J Car says. Where was this coming from, J Car, that I wanted to bring up real quick? Because where'd it go? So he asked, are they looking at any running backs to replace Anderson? So let's talk about, as we start to wind down the show, what's left for Notre Dame. And folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video, subscribe to our channel for more content. Kyle, 23 commits, national rank 14. I have not seen Notre Dame this low since Brian Kelly was head coach in the national rankings. Am I concerned? No, not really. I mean,
Hey, there's a chance they could finish with a top 10 class. I discussed that with Darren.
yeah. Can you give me like a true 30 seconds and not a Tim Hyde 30
Yeah.
seconds on that? I want to hear your take.
So if they want to finish with a top 10 class, they got to maintain all the ratings and rankings for those guys. Obviously, this is dependent on how other classes finish. But basically, Notre Dame's recipe there is they have to flip Meadows, or Wiggins, and then get one of Nathaniel Wusu Boateng or Madden Faremo. So basically, if they get two of those top 100 level commits, they got a puncher's shot at
Yeah.
getting a top 10 class. And obviously, the more top 100 commits they get, the better their chances are at getting a higher recruiting ranking.
Yep. And then you have the opportunities of Blake Hebert moving up in the rankings. I could see Elijah Burris. I could definitely see that one. Brandon Logan.
Yes.
I would bet money. No, I wouldn't bet money on this. Like actually, but I Brandon Logan's gonna be ranked a 4-star. There's just no doubt in my mind. I'm just telling you, folks. I bet you On3 bumps them, and then 24/7 rivals follow suit. I just get we've seen this story before. Brandon Logan's gonna end up a 4-star.
He's
So
a
you're
4-star player from what I saw from him.
dude. I love on Friday nights. Kevin Sinclair at Irish Illustrated tweeting out Brandon Logan clips because that's Sinclair's an animal with that stuff, and I send all of them, pretty much all of them, to Charles Power. I'm like, dude, Brandon Logan is so much fun. Charles doesn't respond to them anymore. I think he's sick of hearing me on it, but in all seriousness, like Logan is a freak. Like he is just different. Like his hitting ability in the year of 2024 to still hit clean and hard, like he's a special talent. But anyways, what's left? You got let's just go position by position. Quarterback, done. Running back. I personally thought they were gonna just stick with Thurman. I do think they're gonna end up taking a second running back in this class. Now, is that because they feel like, oh, this guy's gonna declare and oh, this guy's gonna transfer? I don't know. But I think they're gonna take a second running back. Another receiver or two. Meadows is going to be someone they're going to take no matter what. And but I do think they're going to end up taking a kind of a Blake Hebert type flip late in this recruiting. I mean, I guess it is already pretty late. Cal, you know that December signing day is moved up to the first Wednesday. I think it is now in December. It's like December 4th or
I don't
something.
even know if there is a signing day. This might be the last version of it.
Financial aid day. I don't know what you want to call it, but I still think they sign on a particular day. They sign
That would
financial aid
be
papers.
very welcome news if that's the case.
Because there has to be like a first day you can make it official. So whatever that is, I believe it's like December 4th,
Dude,
which
I
is
don't
much
think
earlier
there
than
is.
years past.
I technically don't think there is. Maybe there's a day like, I don't know, more towards like this time of year now. But the reason I say this is because I know, for example, at Ohio State, Luke Montgomery, an offensive lineman that Notre Dame recruited, he signed his financial aid paperwork early, and he was able to do an in-home before in-homes actually began. So it was really complicated. And I think Notre Dame actually used that to their advantage too by doing 2 in-homes with Peyton Bowen during the 23 cycle because Peyton Bowen had signed his paperwork. So for whatever reason, they were allowed to do 2 in-home visits. So yeah, there's a lot of complicated stuff where we
Yeah,
could
there.
use
Yeah,
some legal
you,
guidance on.
December 4th for now. I don't know. That's what I'm working on until someone tells me
Fire up
otherwise.
Pete Nakos, man. Get him on the phone here.
Yeah,
Let's
seriously.
see
Which I
what
feel
he
like
knows.
I did. But I thought what I'm saying is accurate, but I don't know. Maybe it's changed. We do this for a living. We still don't know jack squat about the dates and stuff. It's always changing. But yeah, so receiver or 2, but I think it'll just end up being 1. I really don't know if they're going to flip Meadows. I would guess not, but they're going to get to 4. They're going to get to 4. Tight end to be determined. I think they'll take a second. Kyle and I are in agreement with that. They're done on the offensive line now after flipping Cam Herron from Iowa last week. Defensive line looks like Jalen Wiggins or bust. The Florida defensive line commit. The Irish love him. Linebacker. We haven't really talked about these 2 guys in a while, but Nathaniel Boateng and Madden Faremo still out there. I asked Notre Dame sources about these guys weekly. The message is same old, same old. So that's that. And then in the defensive backfield, done. The Ivan Taylor thing, I had been saying they're going to go after him. I think Brandon Logan's emergence is why they're not. Like Brandon Logan is just playing at such a high level that Notre Dame doesn't. I don't think they feel a need to go after Ivan Taylor. Like Brandon Logan's been that good. And what do you get? Like 7 defensive backs? 8 if you think Bettis is a safety. So, yeah, they're good in the defensive backfield. Did I miss
Hey
any
man,
positions, Kyle?
if there's anything we learned this year, you can never have enough defensive backs,
Yeah. But
especially Ivan Taylor's,
yeah, but
especially with Brandon Logan having MLB aspirations. That's for real.
Ivan Taylor's one of my favorite prospects that I've interacted with in a while. But he, just and then seeing him on the field, he's fantastic. But yeah, it looks like he committed to Notre Dame, took official visits to Bama and Michigan, flips to Michigan. Now he's back, maybe flipping to Bama. It's all over the place. But yeah, Notre Dame is happy with Brandon Logan. Just didn't work out with Ivan Taylor. So did I miss anyone, Kyle, or anything?
No, I think that sounds about right.
Okay. So we are going to end the show there. Got some daddy duties to attend to. So we will be back next Thursday morning with another recruiting update live show. Tomorrow around noon Eastern time, I'll post my final thoughts, observations, and prediction video with Tim Hyde. Live show after the Notre Dame Navy game. Fired up about a noon game, Kyle.
It's the best.
It's absolutely the best. Give me noon or give me 7:30. I want either my night or I want my day. 3:30 is the worst. 3:30 is the worst, Kyle. You don't really have a full.
3:30 sucks, but I enjoyed a nice relaxing Saturday, like before the game, because I wasn't at the game covering it. Like, surprise, guess what I did on Saturday before the game?
What's that?
This legit took me 2-3 hours straight of nonstop.
Okay.
I finally photo ID'd our Irish invasion photos. So, surprise. That's my gift to you for having your child.
It's in our Dropbox. It's all labeled.
Yeah. The format's kind of funky, but if you type in any name from that Irish invasion, we're going to be able to find them.
Holy shit. That's incredible. That has been on my to-do list for 4 months. Because I wanted Kyle to do it initially, and he was like, I don't want to do it. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. I just never did it. But thank you, Kyle. But yeah, the 3:30, like, yes, you still have a morning, but it's not the same as 7:30 of your morning and your whole day. But I'll get off my soapbox. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so yet. If you're just joining us, great crowd today. Hit that rewind. We talked about 2025 receiver recruiting, Notre Dame looking to flip a Michigan commitment, and what's left in the 2025 class for the Irish, which I did. Yes, talk about Andrew Olas. We didn't really discuss how nice it would feel if the Irish flip a Michigan commit. Oh, that would feel good. That would feel good. But that's a different discussion for a different day if Notre Dame pulls that off. All right, we're going to end the show there. Folks, appreciate you watching or listening. And as always, we will catch you next time.